Commander Veltar stared at his control screen with growing confusion. The readings made no sense. Something was coming toward their space station, but it moved faster than anything he had ever seen. The object appeared on his sensors for a few seconds, then vanished, only to reappear much closer than before. "Run the scan again," he told his assistant, hoping the equipment was broken. The young officer's fingers danced across the control panel. The same impossible readings appeared on the screen. "Sir, the computer says the object is moving at speeds that would destroy any known ship. The hull should have melted from the friction alone." Veltar had worked at Outpost Kappa 7 for 15 years. He had tracked thousands of ships through this sector of space. Every vessel in the galaxy was recorded in their massive database. Every design, every engine type, every species that could build starships. The computer could identify any ship within seconds of detecting it. But not this one. "Search all records again," Veltar ordered. "Check military files, civilian transport, even old experimental designs." The search came back empty. No match found in any database. Light years away, Captain Jake Morrison looked out the window of his ship's bridge. Stars stretched into long lines of light as the new horizon traveled faster than light itself. He had dreamed of this moment since he was a child. Humanity's first journey to another star system. "How much longer until we reach the target system?" Morrison asked his navigation officer. Lieutenant Amy Chen checked her instruments. "About 6 hours at current speed, Captain. We should drop out of faster-than-light travel well outside their detection range." Morrison nodded. They had detected radio signals from this system years ago. The signals were clearly artificial, which meant intelligent life. This would be humanity's first contact with aliens. The responsibility felt heavy on his shoulders. The new horizon was humanity's greatest achievement. Scientists had worked for decades to build the space-folding drive that powered the ship. Instead of pushing through space like other ships, it folded space itself, allowing the vessel to step from one point to another like walking across a folded piece of paper. Dr. Lisa Park, the ship's expert on alien life, sat at her station reviewing first contact protocols. Humanity had spent years planning for this moment. They would approach slowly, broadcast mathematical sequences to show intelligence, and wait for a response. "Everything had to be perfect, Captain," Amy Chen called out. "I'm detecting multiple artificial objects in the target system. These look like space stations and ships. Lots of them." Morrison felt his heart rate increase. This was no simple alien civilization. The reading suggested a massive spacefaring empire with technology that might be far ahead of humanity's. Back at Outpost Kappa 7, Veltar watched the unknown object continue its impossible approach. The ship moved in ways that violated everything he knew about physics. It would accelerate to incredible speeds, then suddenly stop, then appear somewhere else entirely. "Sir," his assistant said, voice shaking, "I think we should alert Imperial Command." Veltar hesitated. False alarms were not tolerated in the Empire. But these readings were beyond anything in their experience. "Send an emergency signal to Admiral Zekar. Priority 1 classification." The message raced through Imperial communication networks. Within minutes, it reached the Admiral's flagship in a distant star system. Zekar read the report 3 times before he believed it. An unknown ship. No database match. Moving at impossible speeds. Approaching Imperial space. For the first time in his 40-year career, Admiral Zekar felt genuine fear. The Zephyrian Empire controlled this entire sector of the galaxy. They knew every species, every technology, every threat. Their military was unmatched. Their databases were complete, or so they had believed. "Get me a direct link to the Imperial Council," Zekar ordered. "We have a situation." Captain Morrison made his decision. "Amy, take us out of faster-than-light travel. Let's see what we're dealing with." The new horizon dropped back into normal space at the edge of the alien star system. Immediately, their sensors came alive with contacts. Hundreds of ships moved between planets and space stations. The civilization was massive, far larger than anything humanity had imagined possible. "Captain, we're being scanned," reported Lieutenant Kevin Wright from the weapons station. "Multiple sources. Very intense scans." Morrison remained calm. This was expected. Any advanced civilization would want to identify unknown ships in their territory. "Keep all weapons powered down. We're here in peace." At Outpost Kappa 7, Veltar's equipment finally got a clear reading on the alien ship. The results made him dizzy. The vessel's energy output was enormous, Far beyond what its size should allow, the ship seemed to bend space around itself, creating gravitational distortions that shouldn't be possible with any known technology. "Sir, I'm reading weapons on that ship," his assistant reported, "but they're like nothing in our database. The computer can't even classify them." Veltar's hands shook as he typed his report. The alien ship appeared to have technology that was centuries ahead of the Empire's best equipment. If this was a military vessel, it could probably destroy entire fleets by itself. The ship just sat there, apparently waiting for something. Its weapons remained powered down, but the very presence of such advanced technology was terrifying. Morrison studied the sensor readings from Amy's station. The alien ships were all using similar technology, but it was clearly different from humanity's approach. Their engines pushed through space using some kind of energy field, while human ships folded space itself. "Any attempts at communication yet?" Morrison asked. "Nothing yet, Captain, but I'm detecting what might be military vessels approaching our position." Dr. Lisa Park looked up from her station. "Captain, I think we might have scared them. Our drive system probably looks very strange to their sensors." Morrison frowned. "What do you mean?" "Our space-folding technology makes us appear and disappear from their point of view. To them, we might look like we're teleporting. That would be frightening to anyone." The captain realized they might have accidentally made the worst possible first impression. Instead of appearing as peaceful explorers, they had probably looked like an advanced military threat. Across the system, emergency signals raced between ships and stations. The unknown vessel's technology was beyond their understanding. Reports spoke of impossible speeds, energy readings that broke their scientific models, and weapons that defied classification. The Zephyrian Empire, rulers of 1,000 star systems, faced their greatest fear. An unknown enemy with superior technology had appeared in their space, and humanity had no idea what they had started. Admiral Zekhar stood before the massive holographic display in his flagship's command center. The emergency reports from Outpost Kappa 7 scrolled across multiple screens, each one more disturbing than the last. In his 40 years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. "Show me the vessel again," he commanded. The hologram shifted to display the alien ship. It looked unlike anything in Imperial records. Where Zephyrian ships were angular and functional, this vessel had smooth, flowing curves. It seemed almost organic, as if it had been grown rather than built. "Analysis of the hull material?" Zekhar asked. "Unknown, sir," replied his science officer. "Our sensors can't penetrate it. The surface appears to absorb most of our scanning beams." The Admiral's worst fears were being confirmed. This wasn't just an unknown ship. It was technology so advanced that their best equipment couldn't even analyze it properly. Captain Morrison sat in his command chair, watching the alien ships approach on the main screen. 3 large vessels were moving toward the new horizon, but they kept their distance. Their formation suggested military training, but they weren't taking aggressive positions. "Any luck with communications, Lisa?" Morrison asked. Dr. Lisa Park shook her head in frustration. "I've tried mathematical sequences, basic physics concepts, even music. They're sending signals back, but I can't decode them yet. Their communication system is completely different from anything we expected." Lieutenant Amy Chen looked up from her navigation station. "Captain, more ships are arriving. I count 12 contacts now, and they're all maintaining a safe distance." Morrison understood their caution. If he encountered an unknown ship with impossible technology in Earth's solar system, he would be careful too. "Keep monitoring their transmissions. We need to find a way to talk to them." In the Imperial Council chambers, Empress Yarmel listened to Admiral Zekhar's report with growing concern. The Empire had ruled this sector of space for 3,000 years. They had encountered dozens of alien species, conquered some, made allies of others. Every contact had followed predictable patterns. This was different. "You're certain the ship matches no known designs?" the Empress asked. "Completely certain, Your Majesty. We've checked every database, including classified military files and ancient historical records. This vessel represents technology we've never encountered." Council member Korath leaned forward. "Could this be a new weapon from the Confederation of Moran Worlds?" "Impossible," Zekhar replied. "The Moran's technology is well known to us. This is something else entirely." The Empress made her decision. "Deploy the 3rd Battle Fleet to reinforce our forces. If this is an invasion scout, we need to be prepared." Dr. Lisa Park finally achieved a breakthrough. The alien signals contained mathematical patterns that she could recognize. Prime numbers, basic geometry, simple physics equations. They were trying to establish communication using the same method humanity had planned to use. "Captain, I'm getting somewhere," she announced. "They're using mathematical concepts to build a basic translation matrix. It's actually quite sophisticated." Morrison felt relief wash over him. "Can you respond?" "I think so. I'll start with confirming the mathematical sequences they've sent, then try to build from there." The response from the New Horizon caused immediate excitement aboard Admiral Croven's flagship. The old warrior had been called out of retirement to deal with this potential threat. When the alien ship began responding to their communication attempts, he felt a mix of hope and caution. "They understood our signals," reported his communications officer. "They're sending back the same mathematical sequences but with additional complexity. Their mathematics appear to be more advanced than ours." Croven grimaced. More advanced mathematics usually meant more advanced technology. "Can we establish basic language exchange?" "We're trying, sir." They seem willing to communicate. Back on the New Horizon, the bridge crew watched as Dr. Park worked to decode increasingly complex alien messages. The mathematical foundation had expanded into basic concepts, then simple words, then short phrases. "I think I've got basic nouns working," she announced. "Ship, star, space, peace." They're very systematic in their approach. Chief Engineer Ryan Hughes joined the conversation from his station in the engine room. "Captain, I think I know why they're being so careful with us. Our space-folding drive probably looks impossible to them." "Explain," Morrison said. "Their ships all use some kind of energy propulsion. They push through space using force fields. Our drive folds space itself, which makes us appear to teleport from their perspective. To them, we probably look like we're using magic." Morrison began to understand the situation. Humanity had accidentally developed technology that seemed impossible to these aliens. No wonder they were treating the New Horizon as a potential threat. Commander Veltar continued monitoring the alien vessel from Outpost Kappa 7. The ship had remained motionless for hours, apparently communicating with the Imperial fleet. His sensors showed that its weapons remained powered down, which was somewhat reassuring, but the readings from the ship's power core were terrifying. The alien vessel generated more energy than some space stations. If it wanted to attack, it could probably destroy everything in the system. "Sir," his assistant called out, "I'm detecting something strange. The alien ship's hull seems to be shifting." Veltar checked his screens. The ship's exterior was changing, panels sliding open to reveal equipment he couldn't identify. "Are they preparing weapons?" "I don't think so, sir. It looks more like they're exposing sensors or communication equipment." Dr. Lisa Park made another breakthrough. The aliens had shared enough language that she could understand basic concepts. Their messages expressed confusion about human technology, but also curiosity rather than hostility. "Captain, I think they want to know how our ship works. They keep asking about our propulsion system." Morrison considered his options. Sharing human technology with aliens could be dangerous, but these beings seemed peaceful, and maintaining good relations was important. For humanity's future, tell them we'd be happy to share information in exchange. For learning about their civilization, the response from the alien fleet was immediate. Dr. Park's translation equipment worked frantically to decode a flood of new messages. "Captain, they're excited. I think we just opened formal diplomatic communications with the Galactic Empire." Admiral Croven read the latest intelligence reports with amazement. The alien ship was crewed by a species that called themselves humans. They claimed to be explorers from a distant star system, making their first journey beyond their home world. The implications were staggering. These humans had developed space-folding technology as their first attempt at faster-than-light travel. Most species took millions of years to reach such advanced physics. The humans had apparently done it in a few centuries. "Sir," his science officer reported, "the human captain is requesting a face-to-face meeting. They want to exchange diplomatic representatives." Croven made a decision that would change galactic history. "Prepare a diplomatic shuttle. I want our best linguists and cultural experts on board. And make sure they understand. These humans might be the most important discovery in Imperial history." Morrison looked at his senior staff. "They want to meet in person. This could be the most important moment in human history." The two species prepared for their first face-to-face encounter, neither fully understanding how this meeting would reshape the balance of power across the galaxy. Chief Engineer Ryan Hughes wiped sweat from his forehead as he explained the New Horizons drive system to Captain Morrison. The alien delegation would arrive soon, and the captain wanted to understand exactly what made their ship so frightening to the Zephyrian Empire. "It's simple, really," Hughes said. Though nothing about their technology was actually simple, most ships in the galaxy seem to push through space using energy fields. They create a bubble around their ship and propel it forward. It's like swimming through water. Morrison nodded. And our system? We don't move through space at all. We fold space itself, bringing our destination closer to us. Imagine taking a piece of paper, folding it so two distant points touch, then stepping from one point to the other. That's why we seem to teleport from their perspective. Exactly. To their sensors, we disappear from one location and instantly appear somewhere else. We're not actually traveling faster than light. We're taking a shortcut through folded space. Morrison began to understand why the aliens were so alarmed. To them, humanity had mastered technology that seemed to break the laws of physics. Meanwhile, Research Director Tylwen worked frantically in the Empire's most advanced laboratory ship. The readings from the human vessel challenged everything she knew about physics. The ship's energy signature suggested it was powered by matter-antimatter reactions, something the Empire had theoretical knowledge of but had never successfully implemented. "Director," her assistant called out, "we're receiving new data from the fleet. The human ship appears to be manipulating gravitational fields around its hull." Tylwen studied the readings with growing amazement. The humans were using controlled gravity manipulation as a routine part of their ship's operation. The Empire's best scientists had been working on gravity control for centuries without success. "How small is their ship compared to ours?" she asked. "Their vessel is roughly the size of one of our destroyers, Director, about 300 meters long." The implications were staggering. The humans had packed technology into a single ship that the Empire would need massive installations to achieve. Either they had impossibly advanced miniaturization techniques, or their understanding of physics was far beyond Imperial knowledge. Dr. Lisa Park continued her work establishing communication protocols with the Zephyrian fleet. Her translation matrix was becoming more sophisticated by the hour, allowing for increasingly complex conversations. "Captain," she announced, "I've made contact with someone who seems to be their chief scientist. She's asking very specific questions about our drive technology." "What kind of questions?" "How we contain antimatter, how we generate gravitational fields, how we fold space without destroying our ship." "She seems amazed that we can do these things." Morrison frowned. "Are these things supposed to be difficult?" Dr. Caroline Bell, the ship's physicist, looked up from her station. "Captain, based on their questions, I think we accidentally developed technology that's far more advanced than anything they have." "That doesn't make sense. They have a galactic empire. They should be centuries ahead of us." "Not necessarily," Bell explained. "Different species might approach physics from completely different angles. We developed our technology out of necessity. Earth's environment forced us to innovate quickly or die. Most alien civilizations probably developed technology gradually over millions of years." The alien shuttle approached the New Horizons slowly, its occupants nervous about boarding a ship with incomprehensible technology. Commander Veltar had volunteered to lead the diplomatic mission, despite the obvious risks. As their shuttle drew closer, the Zephyrian sensors detected more impossible readings. The human ship's hull seemed to exist in a state of controlled dimensional flux. Parts of the vessel appeared to occupy more space on the inside than was physically possible. "Commander," his pilot reported, "their ship is larger inside than outside. That should be impossible." Veltar had stopped being surprised by impossible things. "Just get us docked safely. We'll worry about the physics later." The docking procedure itself revealed more human technological advantages. Instead of using mechanical clamps and airlocks, the human ship simply created a temporary spatial fold that allowed the alien shuttle to merge seamlessly with their docking. Captain Morrison met the alien delegation in the New Horizons main conference room. The Zephyrians were tall, slender beings with blue-gray skin and large, intelligent eyes. They moved with careful precision, clearly uncomfortable in the presence of such advanced technology. Commander Veltar spoke through a portable translation device that Dr. Park had helped configure. His words came out in slightly mechanical English, but the meaning was clear. "Captain Morrison, I am Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian Imperial Fleet. We welcome you to our space, though we admit your arrival has caused considerable concern. Morrison smiled, trying to appear non-threatening. We apologize for any alarm we may have caused. This is humanity's first journey beyond our home system. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. Veltar studied the human captain carefully. Morrison appeared young for such an important command, but his manner suggested competence and sincerity. More importantly, he seemed genuinely surprised by the Zephyrian's reaction to his ship. Captain, may I ask how long your species has possessed faster-than-light travel? This is our first faster-than-light ship, Morrison replied. We completed it about 6 months ago. The translation device repeated Morrison's words several times before Veltar believed them. A species that had achieved space-folding technology on their first attempt at faster-than-light travel was unprecedented in galactic history. Dr. Caroline. Bell gave the alien delegation a tour of the New Horizons systems, carefully explaining the principles behind human technology. The Zephyrians listened with growing amazement as she described how humanity had approached physics differently than the rest of the galaxy. Your species discovered space-folding before developing conventional faster-than-light drives? Asked the Zephyrian science officer. We never developed conventional drives, Bell explained. Our scientists went straight to theoretical physics and dimensional mathematics. We didn't have the luxury of gradual development. We needed to get off our planet quickly. Why the urgency? Bell's expression grew serious. Earth is a dangerous world. Natural disasters, climate changes, asteroid impacts. Our species learned to innovate rapidly or face extinction. We compressed technological development that might take other species millions of years into just a few centuries. The Zephyrian delegation exchanged glances. They were beginning to understand that humanity's rapid advancement wasn't just luck. It was the result of surviving on a hostile world that forced constant innovation. Commander, Veltar asked to see the ship's engine room. Chief Engineer Hughes proudly showed them the space-folding drive, a massive crystalline structure that hummed with barely contained energy. This device folds space itself, Hughes explained. We create a controlled dimensional rupture, fold space to bring our destination closer, then step through the fold. The Zephyrian engineer examined the drive with instruments from their shuttle. The readings were beyond their understanding. The humans had somehow created a stable dimensional fold that could be controlled and directed. How do you contain the energy required for this process? The alien engineer asked. Matter-antimatter reactions, Hughes replied casually. We generate antimatter using magnetic field manipulation, contain it in gravitational bottles, then use controlled annihilation to power the drive. The Zephyrian engineer's translator remained silent for several seconds, apparently struggling to process such advanced concepts. Back in Imperial space, emergency sessions were being held at the highest levels of government. Reports from the human ship had reached the Imperial Council, and the implications were staggering. The humans had accidentally developed technology that put them centuries ahead of the Empire in several key areas. Their ship was smaller than an Imperial destroyer, but it possessed capabilities that the Empire's largest installations couldn't match. Are they a military threat? Asked Empress Yarmel. Admiral Zekhar reviewed the latest reports. Their weapons systems appear to be defensive in nature, but they're based on technologies we don't understand. If they chose to be hostile, they could probably destroy our fleets with ease. And their intentions? They appear genuinely peaceful. Commander Veltar reports that they seem surprised by our reaction to their technology. I believe they have no idea how advanced they appear to us. The Empress made a decision that would reshape galactic politics. The Empire would have to adapt to a new reality. They were no longer the most technologically advanced civilization in known space. Captain Morrison ended the diplomatic meeting with an invitation. We would be honored to escort a delegation of your people back to Earth. Our governments should meet to discuss formal relations. Commander Veltar accepted immediately. The opportunity to study human civilization firsthand was too valuable to pass up. As the Zephyrian shuttle departed, carrying news that would transform the galaxy, neither species fully understood the changes they had set in motion. The Imperial Council chamber fell silent as Empress Yarmel finished reading Commander Veltar's report. For 3,000 years, the Zephyrian Empire had been the dominant power in this sector of the galaxy. They had encountered dozens of alien species, but none had challenged their technological superiority. Until now. You're certain of these findings? The Empress asked Admiral Zekar. Commander Veltar is our most experienced diplomat, Your Majesty. His report has been verified by our science teams. The humans possess technology that exceeds our capabilities in several critical areas. Council member Korath shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Could this be an elaborate deception? Perhaps they're hiding their true military strength. The evidence suggests otherwise, Zekar replied. Their ship appears to be exactly what they claim, an exploration vessel. They seem genuinely surprised by our reaction to their technology. Empress Yarmel had ruled the Empire for over 2 centuries. She had guided her people through wars, political crises, and technological revolutions. But she had never faced a situation quite like this. What are our options? We could attempt a preemptive strike while we still have numerical superiority, suggested General Vexelar, the Empire's military commander. If they're planning an invasion, we should act first. And if they're telling the truth about being peaceful explorers? The Empress asked. Then we would have started a war with a species that could destroy us, Admiral Zekar said quietly. The weight of the decision pressed down on everyone in the chamber. The Empire stood at a crossroads that would determine the fate of billions. Captain Morrison studied the tactical display in his ready room. More alien ships had arrived in the system, bringing the total to over 50 vessels. The formations suggested a military buildup, but they maintained a respectful distance from the New Horizon. Dr. Lisa Park entered with the latest communication reports. Captain, I'm receiving transmissions from multiple alien factions. It seems word of our arrival is spreading beyond the Zephyrian Empire. Other species? At least 3 different alien civilizations have sent diplomatic inquiries. They're all asking the same questions. Who are we? Where did we come from, and how advanced is our technology? Morrison rubbed his temples. Humanity's first contact with aliens was becoming far more complicated than anyone had planned. Any hostile intentions? Not so far. Everyone seems more curious than threatening, though some of the messages suggest they're concerned about the balance of power in the galaxy. The captain was beginning to understand that humanity had accidentally positioned itself as a major player in galactic politics. Their technological advantages had made them important whether they wanted to be or not. Commander Veltar transmitted his detailed report to Imperial Command while traveling back to his home base. The human ship had left him with more questions than answers. How had a species developed such advanced technology so quickly? Why had they approached physics from such a different direction than every other known civilization? His science officer, Sub-Commander Talek, reviewed the data they had collected aboard the New Horizon. Commander, the humans mentioned that their planet is unusually dangerous. Could that explain their rapid development? Elaborate. Most species develop technology gradually because they have the luxury of time. If the human homeworld is as hostile as they claim, they would have been forced to innovate quickly or face extinction. Veltar considered this. It would explain how humanity had compressed millions of years of technological development into a few centuries. Necessity had driven them to find solutions that other species had never needed to discover. Dr. Caroline Bell worked in the New Horizons physics lab, analyzing the alien technology they had been shown during the diplomatic exchange. The Zephyrian systems were impressive in their own way, but they represented a completely different approach to engineering. Captain, she called over the ship's communication system, I think I understand why our technology seems so advanced to them. Morrison's voice came back immediately. Explain. The aliens developed their technology over millions of years, improving efficiency and reliability gradually. Their ships are incredibly well designed, but they're based on principles that are millions of years old. And our approach? We started with theoretical physics and worked backward to practical applications. We didn't have time to develop gradually, so we went straight to the most advanced solutions we could imagine. Morrison began to see the bigger picture. Humanity had accidentally leapfrogged millions of years of conventional technological development by approaching problems from a completely different angle. The message from Imperial Command reached Admiral Croven's flagship within hours. The old warrior read the orders with growing concern. The Empire was mobilizing additional fleets, preparing for the possibility of conflict with the humans. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're receiving a transmission from the human ship. They're requesting permission to send a message to their homeworld. Croven made a quick decision. Grant permission, and monitor their transmission carefully. The message Captain Morrison sent to Earth was brief but momentous. Humanity was not alone in the universe. They had made contact with a Galactic Empire, and their first faster-than-light ship had positioned humanity as a technological power that other species took seriously. The response from Earth came 18 hours later. After frantic meetings between world leaders, Dr. Angela Stone, director of the Global Space Exploration Initiative, spoke for all of humanity. Captain Morrison, you are authorized to represent Earth in diplomatic negotiations. Establish peaceful relations with any alien species you encounter. Additional ships are being prepared for launch, but you are our sole representative until they arrive. Morrison felt the weight of representing his entire species in galactic politics. Every decision he made could affect humanity's future for generations. News of the human arrival spread through the galaxy's communication networks faster than anyone expected. Within days, representatives from a dozen different civilizations had requested meetings with the mysterious newcomers. The hegemony of Carthul, longtime rivals of the Zephyrian Empire, saw opportunity in the changing balance of power. Ambassador Kixtal transmitted a message directly to the New Horizon. Captain Morrison, the hegemony wishes to establish formal relations with your species. We believe we can offer better terms than the Empire. Dr. Lisa Park brought the message to Morrison's attention with obvious concern. Captain, I think we're being drawn into galactic politics whether we want to be or not. Any other factions making contact? The Confederation of Moran Worlds has requested a meeting. So have the Free Traders Alliance, the Neutral Zone Consortium, and something called the Progressive Unity Coalition. Morrison realized that humanity's technological advantages had made them valuable allies to everyone in the galaxy. Every faction wanted to be the first to establish relations with the newcomers. Chief Engineer Ryan Hughes made a discovery that changed everything. While reviewing the alien technical data they had received, he noticed something unusual about Zephyrian power systems. Captain, I think I know why our technology seems so advanced to them. They're still using fusion reactors for power generation. That's primitive? Compared to matter-antimatter reactions, yes. Fusion gives you maybe 1% matter to energy conversion. Antimatter gives you 100%. We're literally generating 100 times more power than they can. The implications were staggering. Humanity's power generation capabilities alone put them centuries ahead of galactic standard technology. Dr. Caroline Bell made another breakthrough while studying alien ship designs. Captain, I think I understand their propulsion systems. They create energy fields that push against space itself. It's actually quite elegant, but it's limited by the amount of power they can generate. And our system? We don't push against space, we manipulate space directly. That requires enormous power, which is why no one else has developed it. They can't generate enough energy to make space folding practical. Morrison began to understand the full scope of humanity's accidental advantages. Their approach to physics had led them to develop multiple technologies that other species considered impossible. The meeting between Captain Morrison and representatives from 5 different alien civilizations took place aboard the New Horizon 3 days later. The ship's conference room had been expanded using spatial manipulation technology to accommodate the various alien delegates. Each faction offered different terms for alliance with humanity. The Zephyrian Empire offered access to their vast knowledge of galactic politics and trade routes. The hegemony promised military protection and advanced weapons technology. The Confederation offered membership in their democratic alliance. Morrison listened to each proposal carefully, but his answer was the same to all of them. Humanity appreciates these generous offers, but we need time to consult with our government before making any commitments. What he didn't say was that humanity had accidentally become the most sought-after ally in the galaxy. Their technological advantages had made them powerful enough that everyone wanted them as friends rather than enemies. As the alien delegates departed, each carrying word of human capabilities back to their respective governments, Morrison realized word of humanity's arrival had spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within 2 weeks, Captain Morrison found himself dealing with diplomatic requests from over 30 different alien civilizations. The New Horizon, originally designed for exploration, had become the unofficial embassy for the entire human species. Dr. Lisa Park worked around the clock to manage the flood of communications. Her translation systems were pushed to their limits as she processed messages in dozens of alien languages. Each new contact brought fresh opportunities and new complications. "Captain," she announced during the morning briefing, "we've received formal requests for technology sharing agreements from 18 different factions. They're particularly interested in our power generation and propulsion systems." Morrison studied the list of requests with growing concern. Everyone wanted access to human technology, but sharing their advantages too quickly could be dangerous. Any hostile responses? Not directly hostile, but some factions are clearly concerned about the shift in galactic power balance. The hegemony of Carthul has increased military patrols near Empire territory. Chief Engineer Ryan Hughes joined the conversation from the engine room. "Captain, I've been analyzing the technical specifications the aliens have shared with us. I think I understand why our technology seems so revolutionary to them." "Go ahead, Ryan." "Every alien civilization we've encountered developed technology along similar paths. They all use energy-based propulsion, fusion power systems, and conventional weapons. It's like they all studied from the same textbook." Dr. Caroline Bell nodded in agreement. "Ryan's right. They've spent millions of years perfecting the same basic approaches to physics. We came at everything from a completely different direction." Morrison was beginning to understand the full scope of humanity's impact on galactic civilization. They hadn't just introduced new technology, they had proven that there were entirely different ways to approach science and engineering. Meanwhile, the Zephyrian Imperial Council continued their emergency sessions. Empress Yarmel faced the most difficult decision of her reign. The humans represented both an unprecedented opportunity and a potential threat to everything the Empire had built. Admiral Zekhar presented the latest intelligence reports. "Your Majesty, our analysis suggests the humans are genuinely peaceful. They've had multiple opportunities to demonstrate hostile intentions, but they've remained diplomatic with all factions. And their military capabilities? Impossible to assess accurately. Their ship appears to be designed for exploration, but its defensive systems are more advanced than our best military technology. If they chose to be hostile, they could probably destroy entire fleets." Council member Korath raised the question that everyone was thinking. "What happens to our empire if every species in the galaxy gains access to human technology?" The silence that followed was heavy with implication. The Zephyrian Empire's power came from their technological and military superiority. If that advantage disappeared, their entire civilization would have to adapt to a new galactic order. Captain Morrison made a decision that would reshape galactic politics. He opened a secure communication channel to Earth and requested an emergency conference with world leaders. The response came within hours. President Maria Santos spoke for the United Earth government, her image appearing on the New Horizons main screen despite the vast distance. "Captain Morrison, the entire world is watching your mission. What do you need from us?" "Madam President, we've accidentally positioned humanity as a major power in galactic politics. Every alien faction wants to ally with us because of our technological advantages. I need guidance on how to proceed." The President consulted with advisors off-screen before responding. "Captain, your mission was to make peaceful contact with alien life. You've succeeded beyond our greatest hopes. How do you recommend we proceed?" Morrison had spent days thinking about this moment. "I believe we should share our technology gradually, but only with civilizations that demonstrate peaceful intentions. We can't let our advantages upset the galactic balance too quickly." "Agreed. You're authorized to begin formal diplomatic negotiations. Additional ships are being prepared, but until they arrive, you speak for all of humanity." Dr. Lisa Park monitored communications throughout the galaxy as news of humanity's formal entry into galactic politics spread. The reactions were mixed but universally significant. "Captain," she reported, "the Confederation of Moran Worlds has called an emergency assembly. They want to discuss the implications of human technology for democratic governance across the galaxy." "And the other factions?" "The Free Traders Alliance is excited about potential economic opportunities. The Progressive Unity Coalition wants to discuss social and cultural exchange. But the hegemony of Carthul seems concerned about military implications." Morrison realized that humanity's arrival was forcing every major faction to reconsider their strategies and alliances. The galaxy's political landscape was shifting in real time. Commander Veltar returned to Imperial space carrying detailed reports about human civilization. His briefings to the Imperial command staff painted a picture of a species that had compressed millions of years of development into a few centuries through necessity and innovation. The humans described their homeworld as extremely dangerous, Veltar explained. Natural disasters, climate instability, asteroid impacts. Their species learned to innovate rapidly or face extinction. Research Director Tylewin studied the data with fascination. That would explain their approach to technology. They didn't have the luxury of gradual development. They needed advanced solutions immediately. There's more, Veltar continued. Their society is built around rapid adaptation and problem-solving. Where we might spend centuries perfecting a design, they prototype, test, and improve within years or even months. The implications were staggering. The humans hadn't just developed superior technology. They had created a culture of innovation that could continue, advancing at unprecedented rates. Captain Morrison convened a meeting with representatives from the five major galactic factions aboard the New Horizon. The ship's conference room had been configured using spatial manipulation to accommodate delegates from different atmospheric and gravitational requirements. Each representative brought formal proposals for alliance with humanity. The negotiations revealed the complex web of relationships that governed galactic politics. Admiral Croven spoke for the Zephyrian Empire. Humanity possesses technology that could benefit all civilizations. The Empire offers to serve as intermediary in sharing this knowledge throughout the galaxy. Ambassador Kixtal of the Carthul hegemony disagreed. The Empire seeks to maintain its dominant position by controlling access to human technology. The hegemony offers direct partnership without imperial interference. Representative Yilmar from the Confederation of Moran Worlds proposed a different approach. The Confederation believes all species should have equal access to technologies that could improve life throughout the galaxy. Morrison listened to each proposal carefully. The aliens were essentially asking humanity to choose sides in conflicts that had shaped galactic politics for millennia. I appreciate all of your offers, Morrison said finally, but humanity's position is clear. We will share our knowledge with any civilization that demonstrates peaceful intentions and respect for other species' sovereignty. The response was immediate and varied. Some delegates seemed pleased with humanity's neutral stance. Others appeared frustrated that they couldn't secure exclusive access to human technology. Dr. Carolyn Bell made a discovery that changed the entire dynamic of the negotiations. While reviewing alien technical databases, she found evidence that several species had been deliberately suppressing technological development to maintain political control. Captain, she reported privately, some of these civilizations have had the theoretical knowledge to develop advanced technology for millions of years. They chose not to because it would disrupt their social orders. Morrison understood the implications immediately. Humanity's arrival wasn't just introducing new technology. It was proving that rapid advancement was possible. This could inspire other species to challenge their own governments and social systems. The meeting concluded with an unprecedented agreement. Humanity would establish a neutral technology-sharing consortium, offering their knowledge to any civilization that met specific criteria for peaceful cooperation and respect for individual rights. The reaction across the galaxy was immediate and dramatic. Progressive factions celebrated the opportunity for rapid advancement. Conservative governments worried about social upheaval. Military powers began reassessing their strategic positions. Within days, over 50 different alien civilizations had applied to join the Human Technology Consortium. The applications revealed a galaxy hungry for the kind of rapid progress that humanity had achieved. Morrison transmitted a final report to Earth as the New Horizon prepared to escort a fleet of alien diplomatic vessels to humanity's home system. Mission Control, we have achieved peaceful first contact with multiple alien civilizations. Humanity is now recognized as a major power in galactic politics. We're returning home with representatives from 12 different species who wish to establish formal relations with Earth.